we're charging our batteries. They were down to 65%. I don't know how long they've been, sitting in the store like that. But this battery charging is brought to you by Script. Strong alligator clips. This one was at 12.3, is that what it was? And that one was at 12.5. So we're slowly getting the front tires up out of their hole. They're probably 3 inches, if not 4 inches into the gravel here.
It's moved.
It's all the way to, no, that thing's like 6 inches down there. Because this line is below ground level. So, well, maybe 5 inches, but yeah, that's a long, makes it hard to get. I had definitely using the low profile jack under there. So we're starting to get separation in between. Still pumping, or it's just hard to pump?
Coming up.
I'm super sore today, so I know Lance is sore today. Well, we got it dug out some, but we're still fighting it. Getting ready to, it is spinning, so we're going to see if we can just dig it out enough to get the wheel off, and then we can get the jack under there better. That's probably the easiest way to go here. So, yeah, you can see how deep that tire was in there. We used the max throw on that jack just to get it up enough to where we could do what we just did. There was no getting the jack under there. So now we get under there, we can get the axle up on the other side a lot easier. All right, all 6 wheels are off. I'm ready for the tire shop to come pick them up. They're gonna mount them, balance the steers, and then bring them back, and then we'll put them on. That way we know that they're all torqued right. We got that wheel seal to replace, but I need to be able to release that parking brake, so I'm gonna have to hook up to that air chamber on that DD3, add some air to it to release it. It's all up on cribbing. The body is blocked, the axles are blocked, multiple points. Time to service the oil bath air filters. This is always fun on a bus that's been sitting for 10 years. Sometimes you get water inside of there. That really sucks. But I never want to start an engine without checking those. We're going to get in there now, start dropping them. I got a bucket to drain them into. I got a scraper to clean the bottom and some brake clean to help. So it's really about all you need for what we're going to do here. And then they have an oil recycling bin here where I can put the oil into the shop we're at. Otherwise, just take it to AutoZone or wherever they'll take the used oil. But we'll see how these come apart. Here's the first one. A little bit of water in there, but not too bad. Look like they've been recently serviced. At least the oil change in that. There's still quite a bit of goop on there. Like a job for Lance. Add oil. Just fill it up to the top right there. That's pretty good. Just a little bit of dirt and shit on it. So this one I dumped the oil on it. It was full, but there's just a little bit of dirt in it. Not too bad. Just a small amount of dirt on the bottom to clean out. So these are clean, ready to go. One more to take down still. Cartridges are pretty clean at the bottom. We're adding coolant, and there's a coolant leak coming. So we're gonna figure out what's going on. It's running down over there. It's dripping back over there, but it's because it's running on that panel. So something's coming from up there in that radiator area. Okay, so the radiator is leaking somewhere in the radiator itself. So we're gonna have to pull it out to find out if it's something we can braze up. If it's a tube, we can. These are we'll see what we can get. But it's definitely leaking out of the radiator. What do you got there?
I don't know what that was. Something just rolling around down there.
So it's dry all the way up. I only see it at the bottom.
Yeah. Dry on the sides. There's no moisture on the sides or anything.
I'll step down. Up on a step stool. Let me see in this way if I can. There's not. Yeah, it doesn't even look wet this way. It's got to be that seam on that bottom plate. Something we can just solder up, I assume. So, I don't see anything wet back there on this side, but it's still pissing out. Good. Stormed really bad here last night. Drained a couple gallons of oil out of the engine just because it was overfilled. The oil is real clean that's in there. It probably had its last oil change right when they ended up bringing it to this lot. We left the bay door open during the storm, not thinking about it. This is the non-windy side, but it must have caught it. It ripped the rubber off of it. The hinge came down. It won't come off.
It will not?
There's a catch, yeah.
Okay.
So just leave it balanced like that for now. We already knew we had one to replace. There's 2 bolts that hold it in the bottom. One of them's a real bitch to get to. And I got all the tools to get ready to attack it, and turned out they never even put the hard one back in last time. So that made it easy. It's a tight squeeze though. The bottom's a little expanded across the other.
Ah, I see.
Oh, you're hitting the hose at the top. Yeah, tip it away. You're hitting that. Alright, let me get up there and help you.
Got tilt when it goes in, that's what it's about.
Yep. I hate this radiator design on these buses. I think it's the seam right there.
Yeah.
No, it's under that because that's not a seam, that's just a bracket.
Yeah.
Alright, let's stand it up on this end. It's okay if the water comes out. We got to get under this.
Well, it just really just sits. It just sits in this channel. That's really all it does. I guess it's spot welded.
So I'm taking off these brake chamber hoses here to replace them. The weather has really turned to shit. It's in the 50s, low 50s, 30-40 mile an hour winds, light to moderate rain off and on. It's a really uncomfortable day at this point. We got the rain gear on. And oh, it's just a nasty day to work outside. So hopefully you'll be able to hear me. Everybody complains about the wind, but you get what you get, man. You think it's bad, you should be where I'm at. It's much worse. Got the new inversion valve from Chappie's, and he's gonna put it together now. So he's got to figure out the mess. You warm, Lance?
It's quite.
There it is, all done. Get ready to go in. Okay.
Our new inversion valve octopus.
You lost the washer, the lock washer.
Second. I'll go backwards.
back here. These long ones head that direction. This is where it gets complicated. Remembering what went where.
A couple things are no-brainers. Supply line is not long enough. It is right there. Might have come down at a 90. That's me. It did come down at a 90, so it goes right in there.
So the 90 we probably have on the old hose.
No, it'll go in like this. It's supposed to, right underneath here. I can't imagine you made that hose too short for me.
What's this?
You know where that goes?
There's nothing hooks on that unless it goes into the middle of it. The outside is all rusty.
You just had to adjust the angle of the fitting.
You might have to remove your gloves to do this.
Oh, it might be tight.
Getting it all hooked up.
Oh, that's where our top piece goes, over there.
Yeah. That's the main feed line. That's right, I remember that now. So he's got everything dry fit, he's still got to tighten it all up, but just getting everything run.
What size are the outsides of these? 7/8?
I didn't see it all. Yeah, I believe those are 7/8. Which you laid over your head over there. Beyond the muffler. There you go. Check this out. I love the wheels on it. I'm sure it's a replica. It's pretty. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't want to get close to it. Very pretty. It's in Marion, Ohio. They got us all our brake parts and everything. Yeah. Not too much longer though, because it might rub the wheel.
Right. We were having these made last year.
Yeah.
Their other shop wasn't all dressed out like this though.
There's your hose you need right there.
It's super flexible. Make that a rip.
I just love cool shops like this. right, Lance. So tell me about your first bus. How'd you get into bussing?
So why do I have 3 buses is really what you're asking. Why would I be crazy enough to have 3? How'd I get through 1? Well, it's a pretty good story. I'm glad you asked. Miss Budweiser, my 4106, it's a pretty interesting story. My friend Bill has an Eagle 15. I don't know if it's on any of your videos or not, but I know you've worked on it. My friend Bill had an Eagle 15, has an Eagle 15. He's who got me into this mess. I wanted a big rock star bus with slides and all that, but I couldn't afford it. So I started looking online at different things I liked, and I really fell in love with the 4106. I thought that was a really good looking bus. It was beautiful. General Motors made it, and I saw that there were lots of them for sale on the bus boards and things like that, and they weren't too bad. So long short about this, my wife and I went on a cruise sometime in 2010 or something like that. We had to get off the cruise, and she said, and she's gonna say this, so it's all right. She said, "Please don't divorce me, please don't divorce me," because she had an anxiety attack. And she said, "Why don't you just get that damn bus you've been wanting to get?" And I said, "You know, baby, that's okay." But I put that up here. And the next year on Christmas, the day after Christmas, I had located a bus, ironically in Indianapolis. And a guy had it, and he had it on Craigslist, and it said, call for information. It's a 4106, it was red. It looked really cool. So I called the guy and said, "Hey, how much do you want for it?" And he's like, I don't sell things, I only barter." And I'm like, what are you talking about? How much money do you want? And I will tell you. He's like, "I don't do things like that, I just trade." I said, okay. So I'm like, well, I don't have anything to trade you that I thought was worth value. So I hung up and I called one of my buddies, Matt in Virginia. I said, "Man, I found this bus, I really want to get it. The dude won't give me a price, what do I do?" He's like, "Why don't you trade your Trans Am?" I'm like, "I'm not trading my Trans Am. I had an 84 Trans Am 15th anniversary restored." So my wife came in and she said, "Why don't you trade the Trans Am?" Because she never liked the Trans Am. So I took a few pictures of it and I sent it to the guy and called him. I said, "Hey, why don't we trade for pinks?" And he said, "Bring that up here." So the day after Christmas, several years ago, many years ago now, I put my Trans Am on my car trailer and my friend Bill. We headed up to Indianapolis, and when we got to the bus, I was immediately in love with it. It was a custom coach. It had a really unique old vintage interior. It was covered with snow, and the guy had it running when we got there. We had that Detroit just sitting there in the snow day after Christmas. And I was like, this bus is mine. And not only that, we had driven through what's a blizzard to get there. For living in Tennessee, a blizzard is anything over 1/2 of an inch of snow. There were 3 or 4 inches of snow, and it was everywhere. And pulling the Trans Am on the trailer behind the truck, it was squirrely getting out there. I was like, "There's no way in hell I'm taking this back." I said, so we worked out a deal. And to make the deal, how it all ended up, and some of you I've seen you post on Scott's things before, hey, how much does a bus cost, this, that, and the other. I got a custom coach that day. I think the trade was about $12,500 when I look at what my Trans Am was worth. And I was going to give him some cash, but I kicked in the trailer because I didn't want to pull the trailer back to Tennessee. Dumb decision. Don't sell your trailers. If you have an auto hauler, don't do it, because I missed it every day since. So I'm in about $12,500 at that point. And Bill, we tried to, got into it. We tried to turn the steering wheel. The wheel literally would turn like almost one half of a turn before the wheels even started to turn. And the guy came out and said, "I wouldn't drive that. I drove it from Muncie or something like that. I don't think it's too safe to drive." So I said, "Okay, well, I got to find some way to work on this." So I started calling around, and a place that will remain nameless in Whiteland, Indiana, that works on trucks and tires, said, "Yeah, we work on buses all the time. You need to bring that over here. Just bring it on over. We'll get to work on it. Just have it towed in." And so I actually drove by there and visited with the guys. Had a nice shop. Looked like they knew what they were doing. There was a bus there at the time. So I went back home that night. And when I got in, the kids ran outside, and the wife came out. They're like, "Where's the bus, Daddy? Where's the bus?" And I said, "The bus isn't ready to drive." And "Where the hell is it?" said my wife. "Where the heck is it?" And I said, "Well, it's up in I'm having it towed to this place. What's it cost to tow? Many of you know what it costs to tow a bus. It isn't cheap. So the next week they towed it to this unnamed place in Whiteland, Indiana that works on tires and trucks. And they started working on and they'd call me, oh, you need this part, and I wanted an alignment done and wanted some airbags done. Oh yeah, we're getting to it. And they had it for 3 or 4 weeks, and then they called and they said, we've got this about as far as we're going to work on it. You need to come on up here. It's going to be $7,500. Bring your money and come and get your bus and get it out here. And I said, oh, good. It's all done. So I got my friend Bill, and we left, and we drove all the way up to Indianapolis to this place in Whiteland, unnamed, that works on tires and trucks. And we tried to bring the bus back to Tennessee. So we drove it out, and we drove across the street to put some fuel in it, and I shut it off, and I was putting some fuel in it, and I went to restart it. And long story short, the battery caught on fire. And I called them, what the hell? Why the cords had shorted out. Something was bad with that. And then we got it going. We got on the road, and I know this now, but the airbags weren't up. So I was basically just riding down the road. I'm like, is this how people rode in buses? And Bill's in the wheel, and he's turning, and he's like, this is going to kill us. We're not taking this back. He's like, do you want to try? I'm like, hell no. And we went one exit, and we went back. It took like an hour to do that. But on the way back, a miraculous thing happened. We were riding, bumping and then it smoothed out. And I learned what an air ride is like for the first time. And I later learned that whatever was leaking at the time, finally the compressor caught up with it, and the bus lifted up like an airplane taking off, and the ride, although Bill was still trying to steer it, and we were going from lane to lane, he's laughing at me. It's not that funny of a deal. This is why we have people like you. So we get it back there, and I'm like, guys, this is crazy. And they're like, give us our $7,500, or we're going to do something in Indiana where we'll take your bus or something like that. And I said, well, can I leave it in the parking lot for the next couple of days while I figure what the hell I'm going to do? So I went home. Kids ran outside. The wife came outside. Daddy, where's the bus? And I said, well, and Jennifer said, where's $7,500 out of the checking account? So if you've done the math, 12.5 and 7.5, I'm up to right at $20,000 on this bus, $21,000. And I don't even have it back in Tennessee, and Mama's not happy. So I did what any person would do, and I went on the internet. And I told my story, help. I think if it's on Bus Conversions or something like that, it says help, stuck in Indy. And nobody answered. And then I got this notice, says, hey, I live in Indianapolis. If you want, I'll go and get your bus. I'll take it to my house, and I'll fix it, and we'll see what we can do. And I'm like, well, what do I got to lose? And I've already paid someone $7,500. I don't know what to do. I also learned I don't have any of the right tools to work on this stuff. So I didn't even have text at the time. We emailed back and forth, and he came and got my bus, and he worked on it for 4 or 5 months, and I sent him money. And in April of that year, he drove the bus down to Nashville. And right now, he's the guy holding the camera right now while we film this. Scott was that guy. And Scott, I appreciate our friendship. I appreciate what you've built with your busgreasemonkey.com. We were talking about last night. It might have been your first bus. Might have been, besides your own, it might have been your first bus rescue. But I trust you. I appreciate you, and you changed. I'm really weirdo. I really get a kick out of these buses, and you've taught me a lot. I'm not just a banker with clean hands. We've done a lot of wrenching. He brought that bus home to me in Nashville, and in the meantime, I built a barn to put that in, a 50 by 40 barn, and I think we spent the better of the next year. Isn't that right, Scott?
Yep.
I think we spent the next year working on that 4106. And some of you ask about the number of buses, and I don't say this to brag. This is a fact. I think Scott knows the number. Scott, do you remember how much I have in that bus?
About 60, maybe.
$60,000 I have in that bus in the 4106, and I didn't put gold-plated walls on it or anything like that. But that's buying a safe tire. That's buying the proper things. That's $20,000 in the front end, and $7,500 to people that didn't do anything. When Scott and I were going through that, we found where they had put fittings together, dry fittings, and there wasn't even grease zerks, and there was no grease.
They put new tie rods on and didn't grease them. They were totally dry.
That's just one of the things. They ground off with a grinder. They ground off some of the lugs. Unbelievable what they did and the things we found, but that's not their fault. That's my fault. And many of you that are watching this video, you're not going to have to do that because you've educated yourself with Scott's videos. You've learned about the site busgreasemonkey.com that you can go to, learn how to do these things. We have a forum. How many members are on the forum now?
I don't know. It's over 1,000.
Over 1,000 people that are in the forum alone, and then we have today 28,000 people that follow you on YouTube that are learning how to do this. So what a great gift. I learned the hard way. You can call me anytime and learn about the hard way. But Scott, thank you so much for helping me. And here we are at my third rescue, what may be my nicest custom coach ever. But man, I appreciate you, and thanks for what you do, brother.
Oh, you're welcome. And your $60,000 bus, you just had it appraised. What's it worth?
I had it professionally appraised, and it appraised for $22,500. And you could, maybe Scott will put some pictures up. It's a spectacular coach. It'll actually be in an upcoming movie. Patsy and it's about Patsy Cline and
Loretta Lynn.
It's called Patsy and Loretta. It'll be, I believe, on Lifetime Movies. It's a Sony motion picture.
It's a really nice bus, but that just goes to tell people that
yeah.
you spend so much money that you're never going to get out of it. You have to get the enjoyment factor out of it.
And we get it. We've taken that bus every place west of the Mississippi. I call it the hot girl at the parties, whatever. Wherever you go, people come running. You can be 4 Prevos in a line, and you come. I make fun of that. You come rolling in with that 2-stroke, and people come running and want to talk about it. And then they see a transverse engine in the back and see how clean it is. And you know, that money we're talking about invested, hoses. Got those of you who are thinking about getting into this as I'm just gonna buy a bus and fix it up and it's gonna be real quick. It just, those hoses, you know, you're $50 a hose. The time to go get it done, unless you own a hose shop. But little by little over the years, I've had that bus 7 years. I learned the hard way about upholstery. Man, be careful in shopping for that and having people do that. But thank you for the compliments on the bus. So Scott's helped me with my 4106 to General Motors, former Budweiser bus. My MC8.
Yeah, it was Miss Budweiser because it was the Budweiser race team.
Yeah, it was with Anheuser-Busch, Bernie Little Racing with Anheuser-Busch. That's hydroplane racing.
Yeah.
So Kerwin Elmers, his father founded Custom Coach, tells me that was Bud 1. It was the first conversion they did for Anheuser-Busch. Then I have my MC8, the 1976 MC8 custom coach conversion with an 8B71 and an Allison 740. We wrenched on that last year for a week and rolled it out of here. And then this is CC number 3. This is a 67 MC5 with a beautiful interior with a little love needed underneath the skirt, so to say. So we've been working on that.
All right. Well,
Man, thank you.
Hopefully tomorrow we'll have it running.
Probably start it tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yep.